Hello and welcome to NTA Nationwide, reaching you on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I am Joy Usiago. Nigerians in the United Kingdom have been speaking on the recent declaration of intent by President Muhammadu Buhari to seek re-election, describing it as the rekindling of Nigeria's hope for sustainable future. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the diasporans are urging their countrymen back home to desist from scuttling genuine efforts and making the country more secure, highly respected and prosperous.
At his last public engagement before leaving Nigeria for the United Kingdom on official visit, President Muhammadu Buhari told the stakeholders of the governing APC and indeed Nigerians of his decision to recontest the 2019 presidential election. That pronouncement has generated a lot of reaction from Nigerians within and outside the country. For those in the United Kingdom, the decision by the Nigerian leader to run is not only fulfilling and reassuring, but in the best interests of the country.
We need President Muhammadu Buhari, and regardless of who you worship, what God you call upon, please pray for the man. Hold up his hand and allow him another 4 years to carry through the project that he started.
So that me and you and our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren will have a better and greater Nigeria.
If we disrupt that, Nigeria will just fall backwards many more years. So in my own opinion, we'll support the government wholeheartedly because the government means well. It might be painful now, but joy comes tomorrow.
2019 is a time that Nigerians need to come up and support the God-given president we have.
Rome is not being in a day. We need to be patient.
The respondents expressed the belief that, given the circumstances President Buhari met on ground on coming to power, he has lived up to expectations, especially in diversifying the economy, tackling corruption and insecurity, describing them as well as his honesty, integrity and patriotic disposition as his major selling points.
He's been the only president Nigeria ever produced without the stain of corruption.
He has stepped on so-called toes by stopping the looting, the continuous looting with impunity that has been taking place in the past. So these people will come back and want to fight him. That's why I'm calling on every Nigerian to come out and fight for the destiny of our nation.
A lot of people are against him, but I'm sure they will fail because anything good, not many people will like it. But I know with God on our side, Buhari will win because he's doing his best.
With President Buhari, I can hold my head high anywhere and say, yes, I am a Nigerian.
Despite indicating his willingness to run, issues relating to the next general elections, President Muhammadu Buhari insists are not his major preoccupation for now, rather the security of the country and our economic well-being. From London, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Thank you, Adamu. And back home, the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Muhammad, says the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration is committed to youth-related issues. Alhaji Muhammad stated this in Abuja while reacting to the statement allegedly credited to President Buhari that Nigerian youths are lazy. The Information and Culture Minister, who noted that the statement was being misinterpreted, said the present administration has created jobs for over 200,000 unemployed graduates through social intervention programs.
5 million pupils every day can be called to be anti the youth. A government that has, instituted its social investment programs, which has generated, not just jobs, but created opportunities for the youth. Our JIP empowerment program has provided, soft loans for over 300,000 individuals and corporations, while our, conditional cash transfer has been made available to about 200,000 families, very the poor and vulnerable. So when you look at the real facts, that look, this is a government that is really very, concerned and passionate about youth development. You cannot take a sentence out of context to say that the president has insulted our young ones. I think judge us by our actions and not by your own emotion.
The minister gave the assurance that the present administration will continue to initiate more youth-friendly policies and further reduce unemployment in the country. Now, the beauty of democracy is its principle of representation, which the legislative arm of government, especially the National Assembly, represents to provide checks and balances to the activities of government. This was the submission of speakers at the just concluded Legislative Conference 2018 on the role of the legislature in Nigeria's democracy. National Assembly correspondent Ifeanyi Ezumba reports.
The theme of the conference is the importance of the legislature in Nigeria's democratic governance, progress, challenges and prospects. In spite of its checkered political evolution due to a series of military interregnum in Nigeria's political history, the legislature has remained resolute in exercising its role in the system, especially in the current political dispensation. The Senate President Abubakar Bukola Saraki in a message said negative projection of the legislature cannot achieve the intended development.
Two things have dominated discourse as far as democratic process in this country is concerned. And they have always been the tool that the press, with due respect, and those enemies of democracy have used in order to continue to demean the process of our democratic governance.
The destiny and survival of Nigeria is tied to the successes of our democracy, and most especially the legislature.
All over the world, we know that the best model is democracy, and nothing has been found to replace this model of the best governance.
The National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies said major constructive changes in the Nigerian political system have been engendered by the National Assembly's reform of the Electoral Act.
That the primary purpose of government at all levels in Nigeria, federal, state and local government in Nigeria, is only to do two things. One, to promote the security, and second, to promote the welfare of all people in Nigeria.
People should understand the nature of the legislative duties. You either be in an oversight function, or be at the committee work, or you actually be in the plenary.
There was interactive session among participants on the perception of citizens against the legislature, the way forward from the National Assembly. Ifeanyi Ezumba, NTA News.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has reiterated the belief of the Buhari administration in the ability of youths to take the country to a greater height. The administration, he says, remains committed to supporting young Nigerians in different areas, including politics. This is when he met a delegation of not too young to run campaigners who were in the villa to canvass for the support of the federal government on their campaign. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Entirely. I don't have any problem with people running for office at any age. As a matter of fact, I've benefited from being very young and being able to. So
experience is a great asset, and sharing this experience with youth as a leader who has seen it all prepares them for the great task ahead.
It's a government that is focused on the youth. We believe that the vibrancy that we need to take the Nigerian economy and the Nigerian nation as an idea to the next level lies with the youth. They are resilient, they are innovative, they have energy, they are bursting with a lot of life, and that is why this government is focusing a lot on what young people are doing in areas of technology, even in entertainment, in all areas of human endeavor.
At this meeting with Not Too Young to Run group, the Vice President reiterated that young Nigerians should be allowed to run for elective positions as they have demonstrated capacity and competence in the fields of technology, education, and other sectors of the economy. While congratulating the group on its achievements so far, the Vice President urged them to lend their voices to campaigns on issues related to anti-corruption. Samson Itodo led the delegation.
Here a few weeks ago, when we marched to the villa to deposit our letter of demand, calling on the executive and the Buhari-led administration to answer the call of history by assenting to Not Too Young to Run. And so we've just come here to place that demand on the need to assent to this bill once it is transmitted by the National Assembly to the executive for assent.
He says the group is excited to see a significant number of young people working in the office of the vice president, which he notes showed the commitment of the administration to engage young Nigerians in the process of governance. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
The Independent Service Delivery Monitoring Group is urging all political parties, civil society groups, politicians, and indeed all Nigerians to continue to support the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, as it prepares to deliver free, fair, and credible elections come 2019. This is against the backdrop of perceived non-utilization of displayed voters' register over the years by political parties. Timothy Yusuf reports.
Section 9 of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended empowers INEC to compile, maintain and update a credible voters register. The electoral management body, in response to an FY request sent by the Independent Service Delivery Monitoring Group, responded that since the last 2 election cycles, INEC has been issuing copies of the register to political parties. However, there was no record of any political party ever approaching the commission with any claims and objections as per the contents of the register.
These are political parties that have offices and presence in every ward in Nigeria. So that simply means that with the presence of political parties, it is easy to identify any individuals or groups that should not ordinarily be in the voter register, whether they're underage, whether they're aliens, you should know them. Not a single claim and objection has been made by political parties here since 2011.
Other reforms introduced by INEC that improved on the process include biometric registration and electronic accreditation using the card reader.
There's a marked departure to do the right thing. There's a marked, systemic approach to correct whatever anomalies that we witnessed in 2015.
Other speakers maintained that political parties remain an integral part of the process aimed at achieving the desired reforms of institutionalizing a credible electoral process. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
And it's time to join Elizabeth in Lagos for stories making rounds over there. It's over to you, Elizabeth.
A joy and a warm welcome to Lagos. The chairman of the governing board of the Federal Institute of Industrial Research, Oshodi, Lagos, Ibrahim Dan Azumi Gwaza, says repositioning the institute to play a leading role in the federal government's agricultural revolution program has to be given priority. At the inaugural meeting of the board in Lagos, Malam Ibrahim said there's a dire need for funding of research at the institute. Musa Tolia reports.
FIGO was established in 1953 to coordinate and accelerate the development of local technology for industrial purposes. It is in this regard that the institute has innovated products to enhance the agricultural value chain. How to consolidate on this occupied the governing board at its inaugural meeting.
We decided to sit down and analyze all these things and put them into action in order to realize the policy thrusts of the President's administration. This is the only research institute that majored into agricultural research. So you can see the challenges. So we are really ready, me and my members, for the challenge.
Director General of FIGO, Professor Gloria Elemo, urged the board to facilitate the establishment of world-class laboratories and workshops.
Over 70% of the MSMEs are using FIGO technology out there on the field. But what we are looking now is look inwards, use local R&D, and produce for industrialization and job creation within Nigeria.
FIGO has trained more than 500,000 technopreneurs in collaboration with several government agencies in the country. In Lagos, Musa Tolia, NTA News.
The Lagos State government has assured residents that it would complete all ongoing projects in the state to make life comfortable and build a sustainable environment for residents and visitors. Commissioner for Works and Infrastructure Adebowale Akinsoya gave the assurance at a media conference in Lagos. Nosa Osula reports.
According to the commissioner, the provision of world-class infrastructural facilities to support the growing population of the state has been one of the cardinal programs of the Akinwumi Ambode administration, adding that it was gratifying that the effort is serving the intended purpose.
We have vigorously pursued the maintenance of existing roads, the rehabilitation and expansion of highways, as well as the construction of new bridges.
Speaking on activities of the Lagos State Public Works Corporation in the last 1 year, Special Advisor to the Governor on Public Works and Drainages, Temidayo Erile, said the corporation carried out major rehabilitation works on 31 roads, out of which 23 were completed, 7 ongoing, and 1 just approved for execution. General Manager, Lagos State Infrastructure, Maintenance and Regulatory Agency, Olayemi Oni, said in the last 1 year, the state government, through the agency, alleviated the problem of towers and mass structure collapse through consistent monitoring and compliance to ethical values and standards. In Lagos, Nosa Usula, NTA News.
And those are our stories from Lagos at this hour. Over now to Joy for more on Nationwide.
Thank you, Elizabeth. The Association of Motor Dealers of Nigeria has been commended for its contributions to employment, economic diversification and gross domestic product of the nation. A statement by Director Information Office of the SGF, Lawrence Ojabo, says the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Bas Mustafa, received a delegation led by the National President of the Association, Prince Ajibola Adedoyin. He said the association's annual turnover of over 400 billion naira was a welcome development in the administration's drive for economic diversification away from oil. The statement adds that the SGF commended them for their business, which provides citizens with access to the needed vehicles. The president of the association asked for presidential waiver on custom duties on imported vehicles for their members. There are positive indications on the capacity of Nigeria to stand on its feet in manufacturing rather than be dependent on import of products for property development. The present initiative of a national housing scheme by the Buhari administration, which prescribes local content in its execution, is succeeding, thereby creating confidence in the standard of infrastructure. Usman Ali, on a fact-finding mission in some parts of Southeast states, now reports.
72 families in Enugu State will reside in these houses. Houses built with almost everything sourced and manufactured locally in Nigeria. It is a new idea to support the economy by promoting manufacturing. It is also an empowerment scheme.
We are very happy because most of us have benefited from this project. Just like me, I've gotten a piece of land from here.
Everything is locally manufactured except ceiling boards. The ceiling boards and the lighting units, the lighting fittings, and the locks. The locks are not manufactured in Nigeria.
Abakaliki, the Ebonyi State capital, is equally a frontier for this development. Youth take the advantage of the project by securing jobs.
Some of the contractors have been paid, and immediately they are paid, they will resume back on work. It's only when we are having some little, which I believe the Honorable Minister is actually attending to.
The major problem we have is the bill of quantities. The people that prepared the bill, there are so many places that were lapses.
This time, the federal government is not only achieving economic success of its manufacturing sector, but giving a new direction for better Nigeria.
By the time you come back to this place, you see the roads, see the electrical aspect of the work, drainage and all that.
With abundant human and material resources, experts believe that Nigeria has the market to acquire its products. In Abakaliki, Ebonyi State, Usman Aliu, NTA News.
Nigeria needs strict legislative action that will complement the federal government's effort in finding lasting solution to farmers and herders clashes in the country. This was one of the suggestions at a meeting on the legislative project to address Nigeria's ecological challenges. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu reports.
The program is an initiative of President of the Senate, Abubakar Bukola Saraki. It is aimed at providing a strategic legislation on deforestation, land degradation, and loss of biodiversity in Nigeria.
What we are doing in Nigeria is also going to be what is going to happen in Senegal and what is going to happen in Democratic Republic of Congo. How do you preserve the environment? How do you preserve our natural capital to ensure that you do not create more problems?
Participants identified rampant deforestation activities as a threat to the socio-economic growth and peaceful coexistence among the diverse communities in the country.
Something we call the Green Recovery Nigeria, which we see as a multi-stakeholder group that supports Nigeria's aim to increase its tree cover and forest coverage.
The legislator has been found as a critical stakeholder in enhancing the effectiveness of how the environmental system generally is supposed to function better.
The project, which is geared towards advancement of environmental governance, is in collaboration with the United Nations Development Programme, Federal Ministry of Environment, and Federal Ministry of Budget and Planning, among others. From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
More news on the environment as United Nations delegation on Black Suit visits Rivers State. Ogechi is our guide in Port Harcourt. Hello, Ogechi. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Joy, and welcome to Port Harcourt. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has called for a scientific method to destruction of illegal refineries as part of measures to containing the environmental challenge of black soot in the state. The governor made a call when the United Nations delegation, a fact-finding mission on the black soot, visited him at Government House, Port Harcourt. Ogedinyekwe has the report.
The United Nations delegation, which is on a scoping mission to the state on the black soot, were in Government House to interact with the governor on the government's efforts at containing the menace. Governor Wike blamed the suit on the security agencies who adopt crude methods of destroying illegal refineries coupled with activities of the international oil companies. He said Rivers State government is ready to partner with the UN to address the challenge.
It is obvious that the problem is not caused by the state. We do not refine crude oil. We do not own any company that does that. We do not control the security agencies.
Leader of the UN delegation, Charles Ekong, and the Assistant Director, Federal Ministry of Health, Duro Jaye Adibayo, appreciated the steps already taken by the Rivers State government in containing the challenge.
And we are here to understand the concerns. And our goal is to, since this is just a scoping mission, we are here to listen and to see how we as an organization can be able to support. They have actually discussed with us extensively on all the efforts that the Rivers State government has actually put in place.
The soot leaves black contaminating particle residue on surfaces in the environment. In Port Harcourt, Ogedinyekwe, NTA News.
Now, still on the environment, the National Oil Spills Detection and Response Agency, NOSDRA, is embarking on a joint contingency plan activation and drill exercise with stakeholders in industry to appraise the nation's preparedness to disaster management in the oil industry. Director General of NOSDRA, Peter Dabo, disclosed this at the news briefing ahead of the exercise in Port Harcourt. Kingsley Amajiri filed the report.
Established in 2006, is Nigeria's lead agency responsible for coordinating the implementation of National Oil Spill Contingency Plan, which is the blueprint for the management of oil spills in the Nigerian environment. This year's exercise will be examining Nigerian Agip Oil Company contingency plans for oil spill cleanup and remediation.
The specific objectives include: one, to test the effectiveness of our incident
management structure to assess the emergency preparedness of all major stakeholders in OSP containment and management, to ensure effectiveness in interagency collaboration as a necessary ingredient in responding to OSP incidents.
Meanwhile, the Director General of NOSDRA has warned against the consumption of animal skins, popularly known as bomo roasted with tats, as they are leading cause of cancer. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Away from the environment now, the Nigerian Army 6th Division Inter-Brigade Training Competition has ended in Port Harcourt with a charge to the soldiers to be combat ready to protect the territorial integrity of the nation. Special guest of honor and Commandant of Naval War College, Nigeria, Rear Admiral Thaddeus Udofia, gave the charge during the presentation of trophies to winners. Robinson de Attendai has the details.
The training competition is a regular exercise by the Nigerian Army to build fitness among soldiers, promote team spirit, and learn the skills and strategies required for war exercise. Commandant Naval War College Nigeria, Rear Admiral Thaddeus Udofia, represented by the college provost, Commander Joseph Akpan, and the Commandant 6th Division Garrison, Brigadier General Amino Bande, commended the soldiers and urged them to add discipline to fitness.
The troops from various formations and units a show of strength, tactics, and team spirit, which are the fundamentals of any armed forces around the world. It has also shown the combat readiness and proficiency of the Nigerian Army. We are preparing you for future tasks. And what is the future task of a soldier? To defend the territorial integrity of Nigeria.
Yes, it's very interesting. I can see exceptional display of professionalism. They are very strong. Watching this, you want to join the Army any day.
Of the 5 brigades that participated, 6th Division Garrison emerged the overall best. 2 Brigade and 46th Engineer Brigade came second and third. Best performing male and female soldiers were also honored. In Port Harcourt, Robinson de Attendai, NTA News.
Well, that's our beat from Port Harcourt. It's over to you, Joy, again for the continuation of Nationwide.
Thank you, Ogechi. You're watching Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. Time for first break. News continue shortly.
Hate speech is not a joke. It incites genocide and crimes against humanity. Most of Africa's civil wars are caused by hate speech from one tribe against another. We don't want it here. The Nigerian government stands firm against hate speech.
Under no conditions whatsoever should we tolerate or excuse or justify hate speech or hateful conduct of any kind, especially where such is illegal.
There's no doubt that the resurgent push for separatism, as well as the rising cases of ethnic and religious disharmony, are all traceable to the growing phenomenon of hate speech.
One nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Nigeria, one nation, one people.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
We promised and we're delivering. This is the second winner of the ticket to Russia.
I feel so excited. I can't quantify my happiness. This is one experience that every Super Eagles supporter should experience. And I'm happy I'm one of those guys going to Russia to see the Super Eagles play Croatia and other teams in the World Cup. You need to start sending those text messages right now so that you can be a part of this. This is real. This is very real. Niger for Russia!
Go to my son's room and
get pregnant.
Countless women suffer under the misconception that when a woman is childless or fails to conceive within the clock time set for her by family and society, then it must be the woman's fault.
Enough is enough. She must leave my son's house.
So childless women suffer the pains of childlessness, and they also suffer the rejection of family and blame of society. This problem is placed side by side with the issue of those who sell their babies.
You did what?
I don't sell my picking.
In this episode, titled Childless Wives, join us this week as a rib-cracking comedy takes a semi-comic look at issues of childlessness and child harvesting.
I want to get pregnant as easily as you do it. And I swear by my life, I will die for my child.
Over and brought to you by Glow,
the largest data network. Glow Unlimited.
Thank you for staying with us. Sustaining global growth, riding on the back of technology, is at the heart of discussions at the ongoing spring meetings in Washington, D.C. Leah Katun Babatunde reports that both the IMF and the World Bank say it is necessary to harness human capital potentials through international cooperation.
With an everyday increasing technological advancement propelled by disruptions and a digital economy, the World Bank Group says Africa needs to do more not to be left behind. President of the World Bank Group, Jin Yong Kim, says Africa needs to pay particular attention to human and fiscal capital development.
We also see lots of evidence that suggests that many of the low-skilled jobs will be taken over by technology. Now, there's also tremendous hope for technology. I think there's tremendous hope that technology could help some African countries, many African countries who hope, leapfrog and go forward and find new ways of driving economic growth. But that there's no getting away from the need to invest much more and much more effectively in health and education.
With a public debt at all-time highs, IMF's Christine Lagarde says nations must step up reforms, build buffers and steer clear of protectionism measures.
Given the fiscal position and the debt burden, it's time to actually do this intelligent fiscal consolidation, gradual over time and growth-friendly, so that while continuing to encourage this growth process, it's also very cautious with the way in which public spending is spent and collections are being made.
While the IMF calls for sustenance of cyclical upswing to undertake necessary structural reforms, the World Bank wants nations to stay on the target of bringing global poverty down and propel financial inclusion. From Washington, D.C., I'm Leah Katun Babatunde, NTA News.
Thank you, Leah. Now, for Nigeria's fight against corruption to be whole, religious leaders must be involved, as government alone cannot tackle the menace. This all-inclusive strategy was the focus of a one-day workshop on promoting good governance and anti-corruption organized by the Just Foundation, a non-governmental organization in Abuja. Ahmed Ondas Ahmed reports.
Corruption has been a threat to all facets of Nigeria, especially the economy, as its effect is felt in the everyday life of Nigerians. Effort by governments in the past and the present one is aimed at combating the scourge in order to give Nigerians dividends of democracy. To this end, no governmental organizations in the country are advocating the utilization of religious clerics in the anti-corruption crusade, as informed by this gathering.
Fighting corruption, especially in Nigeria today, is beyond the ability of the government alone. It should be duty for everybody to fight corruption. The young and the aged, men and women, civil servants, those who are on private sector, the ulamas, the pastors, leaders of the religion actually have a bigger role to play.
It's our little way of supporting Nigeria and the government in ensuring that we also throw our own punch against corruption.
I think we should all support this government. We appreciate what they are doing, this fight against corruption, because it is the thing that is affecting everybody all across.
The forum is having participants drawn from both the academic and religious organizations to brainstorm on the best possible way to combat the scourge in Nigeria. In Abuja, Ahmed Ondas Ahmed, NTA News.
Charles in our Makudi Network Center will now guide us on top stories from Makudi. Good to see you, Charles.
Thank you, and a warm welcome to Makudi. In line with the federal government's desire to provide efficient and affordable healthcare services to the citizenry, the new board members of the Federal Medical Center, Jalingo, have expressed readiness towards improving facilities and services of the health institution. Christy Ayagwa Adaji reports that the chairman, Oke Ezia, gave the assurance after the inaugural meeting with management of the hospital.
Immediately after the inaugural meeting, held behind closed door, members of the team, led by the Medical Director, Federal Medical Center Jalingo, Dr. Yunus Awiza, were taking around various units of the hospital to be familiarized with the operations of the institution. Speaking to journalists shortly after inspecting the hospital facilities, the Chairman Board of Directors of the Federal Medical Center Jalingo, Mr. Oke Eze, expressed the level of preparedness of the board members to consolidate on the achievements recorded by the hospital for effective health care services.
The first perspective is about the welfare of the patients. The second is about the motivation and satisfaction of the medical center.
Our expectations is that the board members, who are usually well connected in the system, would use their influences to attract more funds and other forms of logistical support to the hospital.
Earlier, the team visited the palace of the Emir of Muri, Alhaji Abbas Njidda Tafida, to intimate him on the purpose of their visit and to seek his fatherly advice. In Jalingo, Christy Ayagwa Adaji, NTA News.
And from Benue State, a report says that the acting governor of Benue State has assured the NMPC exploration team of adequate security in the course of their work in the state. The acting governor gave this assurance while receiving a delegation of the National Petroleum Corporation of Nigeria, NNPC, in Makudi, the Benue State capital. Here are the details. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, had on November 1, 2017, registered its commitment to explore the Benue Trough for gas and oil. It is in a bid to commence the operation that NNPC has delegated a team led by Dr. Hazado Bako to the state to seek collaboration with the state government and support from traditional rulers and security operatives to effectively carry out the oil exploration in Benue North South Senatorial districts.
It's time for us now to discuss how we want to move the exploration into Benue. So we will need the support of the government, the security agencies, the local people.
Acting Governor of Benue State, Benson Abonu, who appreciated the initiative, assured NNPC of creating the enabling environment for the operation.
We are going to set up a joint team of security agencies, that is the police, the army, the civil defense, together with indigenous of Benue State of the communities to ensure that there is no problem whatsoever.
He expressed optimism that the project is capable of providing jobs to the teeming youths in the state. In Makudi, Charles Abba, NTA News. Well, Nura is set in our Sokoto Network Center with a report which says that the Sultan gives ultimatum to Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association to stop killers of local farmers. Over to you, Nura.
Charles, and welcome to Sokoto. Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria has been given 2 months ultimatum to find out the causes and bring an end to the lingering clashes between their members and farmers in Nigeria. Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar III gave the ultimatum at inauguration of new executives to run the affairs of the association for the next 4 years. Sheikh Muhammad Detti completes the report.
The inauguration of the new executives followed election conducted a week ago in Sokoto. Barrister Abdurrahman Harande Abubakar Amia administered the oath to the new executives. Sultan Muhammad Saad Abubakar described as worrisome the lingering clashes between farmers and pastoralists in the country. He said over the years, clashes do occur between farmers and pastoralists, where such clashes are resolved amicably without killing of innocent souls. The Sultan frowned at the Yamana killings are now attributed to Fulanis, calling on the federal government to find out the real traitors and bring them to book. The Sultan admonished the new executives to carry out their duties with the fear of Allah at all times. The monarch maintained that there will be no peace without fear of Allah, justice, and fairness to the people. National President of the Meti Allah Cattle Breeders Association, Muhammad Kiro Ardanzuru, said members of the association are not terrorists, as assumed and speculated. While thanking the Sultanate Council for its support, the president assured of their best in carrying out their duties. He noted that the association will work hand in hand with the state governors to find lasting solution to the lingering clashes between farmers and members of Meti Allah Cattle Breeders Association. Encroachment of grazing land and the search for pasture among pastoralists have negatively affected the relationship between farmers and herdsmen. In Sokoto, Show Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Most Reverend Matthew Hassan Kuka, has urged Nigerians to eschew bitterness, vengeance, and imbibe the virtue of forgiveness in the interest of continuous prevalence of peace in the country. He was speaking in Sokoto at public presentation of a book entitled Forgiveness, God's Perfect Gift to Humanity. Osman Muhammad Binji's report is here presented.
The book, Forgiveness, God's Perfect Gift to Humanity, is authored by former NTA staff Matthews Otaliki. It has 215 pages and 9 chapters that dwelt on reconciliation, forgiveness, and implications of unforgiveness in causing family and societal conflicts. Father Chike Lawrence Emehe, who reviewed the book, described it as timely and recommended it for all. He said the book explained that disagreement can be resolved among families and communities, and how major conflicts could be avoided through sharing of love, which is expressed in forgiveness. Presenting the book to the public, Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Reverend Matthew Hassan Kuka, described the excellent and penetrating insight of the author into the theme of reconciliation as a defining and source of hope to many. He called on Nigerians to always value human life, describing the increasing killings across the country as a clear manifestation that human minds have been contaminated with bitterness.
If you are living as a child of God, somebody's peace, somebody's happiness should concern you. And it should be possible for you to know somebody who is your friend. Why, before you used to laugh, what exactly has happened to you?
The author of the book, Forgiveness, God's Perfect Gift to Humanity, Matthews Otaliki, said the book is aimed at encouraging people to forgive one another for peace to reign.
When we see one another as children of Adam, and we are the same from the same stock, we can hurt one another. We should also have space to forgive one another.
The author also has many books to his credit.
Kebbi State has launched a new football club to compete in the Amateur Division League. Osman Abdullahi Shehu reports that Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu launched the new club in Birnin Kebbi. His report.
It has been a new dawn for football fans in Kebbi State, as Kebbi State has launched a football team to compete at the national level. The state has been without a football team for about 20 years. Some football lovers describe the rebirth of the state-owned football club, Kebbi United Football Club, as an important landmark and commended Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu for the effort. Unveiling the state's team, Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu affirmed the determination of his administration to uplift sporting activities in the state to ensure youth excels in that aspect for the development of the state. Governor Bagudu pledged to provide an enabling atmosphere to ensure Kebbi United Football Club triumph in the competitive games at state and national levels.
The most important thing is to start with the knowledge that the members of the club have the full support of the state, of everyone in the state.
In their separate remarks, the former Kebbi State Governor Alhaji Sa'idu Usman Nasamu Dakin Gadi and the former Minister for Science and Technology, Professor Abubakar Kaoji, congratulated the governor and the people of the state for successful takeoff of the football team. The chairman, Kebbi State Football Association, Alhaji Abubakar Chikaladan, expressed optimism that the team will triumph at the National League level. The Kebbi United Football Club has been registered in the Amateur Division 1 in the National Football League. In Birnin Kebbi, Usman Abdullahi Shehu, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from this end, and back to Joy in Abuja for more Nationwide.
Thank you, Nura, in our Sokoto Network Center. In line with its mandate to train students, the Nuhu Bamali Polytechnic Mass Communication Department has visited the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. The academic visit afforded the students a first-hand knowledge of the practical rudiments of television broadcast. Christiana Akonde's report is here presented.
Until now, Abubakar Mukhtar only sees this world-class digital television on the screen and hopes that one day he will be there. Now, courtesy of the academic visit by students of Mass Communication Department of Nuhu Bamali Polytechnic, Zaria, his dream is now a reality.
Here we have gained a lot in terms of practicals for us to get into the studios and view all the kind of gadgets you have, learn a lot from that.
It's a nice experience, and I would love to come back and maybe have 1 or 2 working experience here.
It is to gain such experience and sharpen their intellects on the ethics, practice, and fundamentals of journalism that the Department of Mass Communication decided to organize the academic visit to NTA.
Create an opportunity for our students to have a kind of first-hand experience on how broadcasting is done, especially in the television section of the media.
The enthusiasm, excitement, and questions the students asked manager reportorial Muhammad Ali and others who conducted the team during the visit showed the visit was worth the while.
A good dose of hands-on experience there. Now, Nigeria and Bangladesh are hoping to improve bilateral relations as they share experiences in the areas of development, poverty alleviation, infrastructure development, and fighting terrorism for the mutual interest of their peoples. Just as the People's Republic of Bangladesh celebrates her graduation from the United Nations list of least developed countries, now a developing nation, the Bangladesh Acting High Commissioner to Nigeria also hopes Nigeria reciprocates the initiative of opening a mission in Bangladesh. Justin Bem-Uye reports.
The South Asian country, Bangladesh, one of the world's most densely populated countries with a population of more than 160 million people, became independent on 26 March 1971 from Pakistan. On March 16, 2018, the country was adorned with a crown for its achievements in development, as she became eligible for graduation from the UN list of least developed countries, LDC. Since the UN identified the least developed countries in 1971 based on 3 criteria, only 5 countries were able to graduate from the group. These include Botswana, Cape Verde, Maldives, Samoa, and Equatorial Guinea, with Bangladesh being the only country that met all 3 criteria of gross national income per capita, human assets index, and economic vulnerability index. Bangladesh and Nigeria enjoy friendly bilateral relations ever since the establishment of diplomatic ties in the 70s. And the potentials for enhancement of trade and economic cooperation between the 2 countries is immense, especially now with Bangladesh taking its status to a new height.
You know, Bangladesh, despite being a developed country, they have advanced in some other sectors, especially in pharmaceuticals, ICT, and education. And they have also an excellent military outfit. And Nigeria has been collaborating on that, and we hope we will strengthen that relationship.
Graduation of this Asian nation from the less developed countries would be an important stepping stone to her
aspiration to become an advanced economy as envisioned in the Vision 2041. While there are challenges, the authorities say new windows and opportunities will also be opened up for Bangladesh with this graduation process. In Abuja, Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
Thank you, Justin Bem. Now, our final break beckons to stay with us for the concluding part of Nationwide.
Our Anchor Borers program has created an agricultural revolution. In September 2015, we imported 644,000 tons of rice, costing more than $5 million per day. By September 2017, rice imports dropped by 95% to 22,000 tons. Our maize crop has exceeded 10 million tons this year, and through our rice and maize program, we now have 12.2 million farmers. We are now the world's second largest producer of sorghum after the United States, third in millet after India, and we lead the world's production of yam and cassava. We've created numerous plantations solely for the export market, and our plan is to increase the agricultural sector from 25 to 49% of our GDP, thereby reducing poverty and increasing food security.
You of all people know that Mexico is the last place on earth I want to visit.
Welcome to Maiduguri. You're welcome.
We have a quiet place we can sit. We have a lot to talk about.
Yes, my office.
I thought that we had agreed no questions. Would you prefer answers?
You call me a beggar when you're a thief. You stole my wife!
You think this place revolves around you? This is our life.
When you're blind, you feel like what you're looking for is out there, but you just can't see it.
Tell you something. Don't think because you're giving me money that you can come here and talk to me anyhow you like.
The day he chose to abandon school after all the money I spent on him is the day I wash my hands. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Experience, they say, is the best teacher.
They hold us from the sea. Thank God that we came back home. They should not go there because it's not good. It's a very bad place. So they just my advice.
Even now, sir, they are shooting the boat they are going to use to go Italy. May they stop it. Our country is good. Our country is a blessed country. Now I know our country is a blessed country. I know before I for not travel from Nigeria to Libya. I know how much I spent.
Let these personal experiences serve as a lesson to all who would repeat their mistakes. A word is enough for the wise.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
And talking sports, Ayodeji Makinde will now bring us sports update.
12 polo clubs